That's Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman, the actor.
What if I told you that Gene Hackman, the Hollywood legend who once captivated the world,
about their investigation into the deaths of the actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa,
fell victim to a ruthless betrayal orchestrated by none other than his own daughter? Yes, this is the shocking story behind the headline, Gene Hackman daughter, new bodycam unleashes chaos. The police have reopened the case after a neighbor's shocking testimony, and what they uncovered in the basement of the Santa Fe mansion left everyone speechless. Police new bodycam footage, Betsy's internet search history, and a mysterious box hidden beneath the floorboards. These clues reveal a chilling truth. This was no accident, but a meticulously planned crime and the mastermind. None other than Gene Hackman's daughter, Leslie Ann Hackman. Was she driven by greed to seize her father's multi-million-dollar fortune? Or is there an even darker secret buried beneath the surface? Could Gene Hackman's ex-wife, embittered by a decades-old divorce, have conspired with Leslie Ann in a vicious plot for revenge? What secrets does that enigmatic box in the basement hold? The answers might leave you stunned. Are you ready to uncover the truth? Join us as we unravel the haunting reality behind this tragedy, a quest for justice for Gene Hackman. On February 25, 2025, the world was rocked by news of the mysterious deaths of Gene Hackman, the two-time Oscar-winning legend, and his wife, acclaimed pianist Betsy Arakawa, thrusting her into the heart of a swirling controversy. Their bodies were found in a state of decomposition inside their opulent home in Santa Fe County, New Mexico. Initial reports concluded that Gene succumbed to heart failure exacerbated by Alzheimer's and a history of cardiac issues, while Betsy fell victim to hantavirus, a rare disease transmitted by rodents. Investigators noted signs of mice in the garage, though the main house appeared untouched. Betsy's internet search history revealed she had looked up symptoms like nosebleeds and dizziness, mistakenly believing she had COVID, and canceled a medical appointment before her death. A business associate of Gene told police, Betsy was far younger than Gene and in exceptional health. She was obsessive about wellness, with no medical issues I ever heard of. Just when the public's grief seemed to settle, a neighbor's startling testimony and a cascade of new clues forced authorities to reopen the case. The discovery of a sealed wooden box containing a trove of documents, handwritten notes, and a USB drive filled with Gene Hackman's audio recordings from before his death shattered the police's earlier conclusions. Then came the revelation of the perpetrator, a figure so close to the couple that no one could have suspected. Who was this person? What drove them to commit such a heinous act? What secrets lay hidden within that enigmatic wooden box in the basement? Join us on a gripping journey to uncover the truth, from what seemed like natural deaths to a sophisticated murder plot orchestrated by the last person anyone would suspect.
No, we haven't had contact with them lately.
The investigation roared back to life, with police meticulously combing through every detail of the case, from crime scene evidence and witness statements to forensic reports and the smallest overlooked clues. Their scrutiny soon zeroed in on Leslie Ann Hackman, who rapidly emerged as the prime suspect. Why did authorities so swiftly peg Leslie Ann Hackman as the key figure? The first damning piece of evidence came from phone records and a jaw-dropping account from a neighbor. At the police station, Leslie claimed her last conversation with her father was a few weeks before his death, insisting everything seemed normal. But the evidence painted a starkly different picture. A neighbor revealed spotting Leslie near the Hackman estate weeks before the bodies were discovered, contradicting her adamant claim to police that she hadn't been in Santa Fe for months. In a call with investigators, Leslie and her sister Elizabeth stated they hadn't spoken to their parents in several months. When pressed about any messages, Leslie replied, "No, we haven't been in touch lately." Yet phone records told a conflicting story, no calls, texts, or voicemails between Leslie and her father for months, directly undermining her assertion of a recent chat. This lie shifted the spotlight onto Leslie, especially as security camera footage and motion sensor data from the house revealed troubling anomalies. The second clue lay in the estate's motion sensors, which logged unusual, deliberately triggered activations in the living room, hallways, and near windows. Initially, police considered three possibilities: the couple's two surviving dogs roaming freely, final movements by Gene or Betsy before their deaths, or an unknown intruder. After thorough analysis, the truth began to surface. The dogs were confined to a separate room, incapable of triggering the suspicious activity. Data from Gene's pacemaker showed it had stopped functioning before the sensors were activated, ruling out any movement by him or Betsy. The conclusion was chilling: an intruder had been in the house, and the absence of forced entry suggested they had a key or knew a hidden way in.
Just like an estimate, has it been weeks or months?
Months.
Then came a shocking financial revelation. Just days before Gene's death, someone accessed his sensitive financial documents from a computer in the home. Some pages were missing, signatures didn't match, and Leslie's name appeared repeatedly. She had initiated legal steps, requesting account details and making questionable moves to redistribute assets, all before any public announcement of her father's death. Why was she rushing to reorganize his estate while he was missing for weeks? Security footage from local stores confirmed her presence in Santa Fe weeks earlier, despite her persistent denials to police. The timing wasn't just suspicious, it seemed meticulously orchestrated. During the crime scene sweep, investigators uncovered another anomaly, a shortage of critical medications that should have been in the home. Gene, with his history of heart disease, relied on a strict regimen to manage his condition, yet those prescriptions were nowhere to be found. Digging deeper, police discovered a fraudulent prescription ordered under Gene's name at a local pharmacy. Store cameras captured a woman resembling Leslie, identified by her gait and the license plate of her vehicle, picking up the order. If Gene stopped taking his medication, his heart condition could have deteriorated rapidly. Was this a calculated step to ensure his death appeared unsuspicious? According to family friends, Leslie's relationship with her father had been strained since his divorce from her mother. She felt abandoned as Gene built a new life with Betsy. A close confidant revealed Leslie's fury when Gene refused to bankroll her failed business venture. His decision to favor Betsy in his will further fueled her resentment, planting the seeds for a scheme to seize his fortune. The evidence against Leslie Ann Hackman mounted, painting a portrait of a cunning and merciless scheme. Police believe Leslie executed a subtle yet brutal plan. By removing Gene's heart medication, she triggered a rapid decline in his condition, staging a death that appeared natural. For Betsy, investigators suspect Leslie deliberately introduced hantavirus-carrying rodents into the garage, where Betsy frequently worked, as traces of rodent bait were found at the scene. Betsy's search history showed she looked up symptoms like nosebleeds and dizziness, mistaking them for COVID and canceling a doctor's appointment, a fatal error Leslie may have anticipated. Under intense questioning, Leslie's story began to crumble. She couldn't account for suspicious bank transactions and repeatedly denied hiring lawyers to alter the will. But emails between her and two separate law firms told a different tale. She had initiated discussions about inheritance rights on the very day Gene's pacemaker recorded its final beat. How could she have known unless she had orchestrated it all? A pivotal clue emerged in the basement of the Hackman estate. During a thorough search, FBI agents uncovered a sealed wooden box hidden behind a false wall. Inside were dozens of handwritten notes, many dated, and a sealed file labeled Top Secret containing a password-protected USB drive. When digital forensic experts cracked the code, they found audio recordings of Gene Hackman himself. His unmistakable voice, though weary with long pauses and labored breathing, was strikingly lucid. In a recording from 6 months before his death, Gene spoke with grave conviction. "I no longer trust some people I once loved. I feel watched. I don't know what's happening, but if something happens to me, check my will. It's not the one I wrote." Forensic analysis verified the recording's authenticity. The USB also contained a scanned copy of a different will in which Gene left his entire estate to Betsy, established a scholarship fund, and donated to charity, explicitly excluding Leslie Ann. This document, signed and witnessed months earlier, stood in stark contrast to the altered version Leslie had pursued. A financial audit of Leslie Ann completed the chilling picture. Money began moving weeks before Gene's death was announced, discreet withdrawals, offshore transfers, and payments to shell companies. Individually, the sums were small enough to avoid scrutiny, but together they revealed a calculated prelude to her scheme. She opened accounts, filed legal documents, and initiated transactions to redirect assets, all pointing to a plan meticulously crafted over time. With overwhelming evidence, police issued a formal arrest warrant for Leslie Ann Hackman. She faced a litany of charges: financial fraud, obstruction of justice, forging legal documents, and conspiring to seize inheritance. At trial, prosecutors unveiled a harrowing timeline spanning months, tying Leslie's every move to the final days of her father's life. This was no spontaneous act or desperate gamble, it was a cold, ruthless strategy. The court swiftly delivered its verdict. Leslie Ann was convicted on multiple counts and stripped of any inheritance from Gene Hackman. All illicitly transferred funds were seized and redirected to the charitable foundations Gene had quietly supported in life. Reflecting on this saga, we're left chilled by a heart-wrenching truth: greed can transform those closest to us into adversaries. Gene Hackman and his wife didn't merely succumb to illness or fate, but to betrayal by one of their own. Gene's life serves as a stark reminder that fame and fortune, no matter how vast, cannot shield us from the invisible daggers of those we trust most. This isn't just a family tragedy, it's a sobering warning to us all: tread carefully with those around you, for sometimes the greatest danger lurks in the one we least suspect. What do you make of this heartbreaking end to Gene Hackman and his wife's story? Gene Hackman spent a lifetime delivering unforgettable performances to the world. But his final role seems to be one he never chose, the victim of a crime orchestrated by his own daughter. What a heartbreaking end for the legend, Gene Hackman. Was Leslie the sole mastermind, or are there still secrets buried within the Santa Fe estate? What are your thoughts on this story? Drop them in the comments below and let us know which of Gene Hackman's roles has stayed with you forever. If you want us to keep diving into mysteries like this, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Thanks for joining us on this journey.